taking a drive out, I guess, toward Anza. I guess you'd call it Anza. It's on the eastern side of Anza. We're going to be taking a drive to the Pacific Crest Trail, where it crosses Highway 74 and goes either north or south. We're going to be taking the route southbound, but hard part for today is going to be getting there because I got a lot later start. I had to take the dog to the vet today. Otto's a little porker. I've been giving him way too many dog treats, and he's gained 9 pounds since last year. So Jesus, I'm sure maybe I have too. I don't know, but the worst part about leaving later is now I'm stuck behind all these trucks. I don't know if you can tell up in the on the other view here. Way ahead, there's a big rig with a forklift on the back side of it, and he's got, I don't know, bags of sod or I don't know what it is, but at one point he was doing 15 miles an hour. 15. Like, oh my God, there's like a dozen cars between me and the back of this truck, and there's another dozen or maybe even more behind me, so it's just absolutely ridiculous. Law says they have to pull over when 5 or more vehicles get behind them, and so obviously this guy doesn't give a shit, and he doesn't care that there's 30 cars behind him doing 15 miles an hour. So whatever time it takes me to get to the trailhead, I'm gonna have to add 20 minutes. I just hope this guy pulls over or maybe makes a turn somewhere. Anyways, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so we might see some clouds coming in this afternoon. It was chilly this morning. It was 39 at my house this morning, which is kind of cold for February. But anyway, so we're slowly getting there. He's sped up a little bit now. He's doing 35 now, so that's a little better. As we're coming up on the Dripping Springs campground right here on the right. In fact, this is where the Dripping Springs and the Wild Horse trails start right here. It's only 15 minutes, not even that from the house. So, and officially we are now entering the Cleveland National Forest. So anyway, eventually I'll get to Anza, and I'll eventually get to the trailhead. So we'll see what time I get. You know, my plan was to start hiking by 10. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal. Today we're right off Highway 74, which goes from Anza on the uphill side all the way down toward Palm Desert down below. The highway's right beside me here. A lot of cars go really fast through here. This is where the Pacific Crest Trail crosses from the south over to the north right here. And this actually begins, for the most part, the start of the mountain section of the P.C.T. heading up towards San Jacinto. That's not where I'm going today. We're going to be going this way. This section, southbound Pacific Crest Trail, heads up toward Lookout Mountain. And there's a section on all trails that says Pacific Crest Trail south. And it doesn't really have a destination. It goes for a ways, and you just kind of turn around wherever you feel like it. I've done that before. But I'm only going to go about 1.5 miles in, and I'm going to make a left in this little ravine, and I'm going to be taking kind of a use trail, a scramble, up to the top of Lookout Mountain. So Lookout Mountain is pretty interesting because on this side, the north side of Lookout Mountain, is all private property. It's all fenced off. There's some things up there that we may or may not get to see. But I've been told that there's a barbed wire fence around the summit, and there's also an electrified fence and a lot of warning signs. And it's pretty difficult to get to. There's a road that leads to it from this direction, but that's all on private property, so we can't go that way. So if we want to go to the top of Lookout Mountain, we have to go south on the P.C.T. and take that use trail and scramble steeply up to the top. And there is from what I gather, a sign-in register at the top, and there's probably a benchmark as well. And it's just south of the fence line. So we'll see if we can make it up to that intersection, see if we can make that climb. I'm surprised there's snow here. It is a little chilly. It's not so much the temperature, but the breeze is pretty strong right here, and it's blowing that cold, snowy air right down from the top of the mountain. So it's a little chilly. So I don't know if I'll get hot today. Probably will. And but anyway, we'll see as we head up southbound on Pacific Crest Trail to the top of Lookout Mountain. That'll all be coming up next. Stick around. You know, as we're first getting started here on the trail that's going to eventually lead us to the turnoff for Lookout Mountain, I'm a little surprised at the snow. I didn't think there'd be any today. I know we did get some rain a few days ago, but it wasn't a lot. But evidently, They must have got some snow at this elevation. The top of Lookout Mountain is a little over 5,000 feet, and we're probably at about, maybe 3,500 or so here, maybe more, 4. So hopefully it won't become an issue today, because as we get higher up, especially when we start to scramble, there's probably going to be more. It's a little muddy too. Well, as you can see behind me as I'm getting a little higher up in elevation, San Jacinto is over that way, and it's obviously got snow. It's 10,800 feet, and the lower range has none. But what I wanted to show you was where I'm at, there's a lot, and I've got to hike in this snow. And believe it or not, I didn't bring my spikes. I didn't bring my little micro spikes. So hopefully this won't be an issue. I am wearing Gore-Tex boots today because I thought it might be muddy and maybe I might catch a little bit of snow, but I was kind of surprised to see this much. So if it gets to the point where it gets too slippery and treacherous, I'm not going to risk it. I'll just turn around and come back. Just chalk it up to a learning experience. And anyway, but it ought to be a pretty day. At least it's nice and clear. Well, as we're heading south on the Pacific Crest Trail, if we look to the right, pretty sure that is a Terwilliger Valley right there, that small valley. And then on the other side of that is Anza. And that mountain right there with the brown rocks, that's the top of Cohia Mountain. That's like a double saddle. Then to the right of that in the back is Little Cohia Mountain. So far on this side, the trail seems to be in much better shape snow-wise. But this air coming up is nice and crisp and cool. It actually feels pretty good. You know, with the addition of snow, makes it a little more difficult to negotiate the trail. But I have a feeling that as it heats up today, it's supposed to be like 60, something like that, daytime high. So a lot of this snow that's here is going to melt. It's going to turn to slush. And somebody else has already been up here. There are footprints. And there are sections, especially on the south and west side of the trail, that have already started to melt. It's a little muddier, but you can see the footprints. And the route we're going to be taking up to the top of Lookout Mountain is on the southwest side. So I'm hoping that helps. Because if we were hiking from the other direction, we'd be hiking up from the northeast. And we all know that northeast slopes retain snow longer into the year. Now, off across the valley, I noticed this last time I was up here. There is a antenna array, and it's got some pretty massive antennas on the top. I don't know what that is for. I'm also getting pretty close to my use trail that's going to scramble up to the top of Lookout Mountain. From what I read from several forum posts, it was about 1.5 miles, 1.48 miles. I do have my older Garmin 60CXS running in my pocket, and that's really accurate. I downloaded some waypoints, one for the turnoff, one for the summit, and I think I actually also downloaded a route. So we'll see how accurate that is. Let's see if I can spot it. I know there's not a sign. I've been here before and I walked right by. I didn't even know there was a turn. So we'll see. It might even be down here. All right, well, this looks like this is about it. I am right on it on the map. And I do see a couple of cairns right there. This is the continuation of the P.C.T. going southbound, but it looks like this is where the fun begins. All right, well, this looks like my route. I was actually surprised that it's actually this worn. I thought it'd be a lot more of a bushwhack, and maybe it'll get that way, but as of right now, doesn't look too bad. Here's another rock cairn as we work our way up. Got a long way to go. Well, I reached a point where I was getting too hot, so I had to ditch the sweater. I'm going to leave it here on a rock. I marked a GPS waypoint on my Garmin, so if I'm going back the exact same route, following the cairns. And even if I don't, I should be able to lead myself right back to this rock and find my sweater on the way out. But I'm on this side of the hill, and the sun's coming out, and it's warming up. I don't want to take the jacket off because of the brush protection, so we'll see how far I get before this comes off as well. Boy, I'm working up a sweat now. Another well-placed cairn as I'm working my way up. Well, that one little section was really steep. Whew. That'll take the wind out of your sails right away. That's the section I just came up right there. Well, I've climbed up a couple hundred feet in just a short distance, quarter mile. Man, this is steep according to the GPS. A little over 5,300 feet. I've got to get to 55. So I only got 200 feet to go. I can see the top, but I have a feeling that's probably not the top. That's probably a false summit. I have a feeling it's probably over the other side and up a little more. But this is just really steep. This is way more than I bargained for. It'll be quick going down for sure. I'll just have to be careful. I'm definitely wearing my gloves going down. I had to actually extend the legs on my tripod, and I'm actually using them as a trekking pole to help on the uphills. Luckily, there's been quite a few cairns. About every 50 feet or so, someone has placed in a good spot, luckily, a cairn. But you can see what a great view we have from up here. And looking all the way down into Hans Borrego. So I'm gonna take a break here just because I'm out of breath, and I'm gonna catch my wind and keep climbing. It's not that far distance-wise of a hike, but it's steep, and it's making up for it. Man, and luckily on this side, no snow. Why did I put myself up to this? I could have just stayed home. I don't know how much fun this is. Tell you what, that summit better be nice. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Jesus, this is steep. But I have to admit, it's not nearly as brushy as I thought it was going to be. There are some spots, like this section behind me here, where it's fairly open. It's still pretty steep, but it's manageable. I did get off trail 20 feet or so over there. It looked like it went to the left, and I went left, and I went just a few feet, and I realized there were no more cairns, and footprints that were going that direction ended, and so I backtracked back a little bit and went the other way and found another clearing, and found some more chewed up trail from boot tracks and found another cairn. So now I'm back on the right track. So I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. The air feels good. I definitely need to go and take a good break when I get to the top. It's going to be quick going down because it's steep. And I'm definitely wearing gloves. All right, you can't tell from the angle, but this is freaking straight up. Go about 10 feet at a time. Well, I'm working my way up to top of Lookout Mountain. Came across this little palm grove, real small. There are some interesting rocks above. And it looks like trail goes this way. But there are some interesting prints right here. I might have to get a better look at these. I'm assuming they're footprints, but I'm not really sure. Footprints from what? All right. I can't catch my breath. This is my view looking south from the hike up to Lookout Mountain. Breeze feels good though. Looks like we have a helicopter flying overhead. Well, as I'm working my way up, I'm lucky that at this elevation, a little higher up, not too far from the summit of Lookout Mountain, we have a couple of nice rock cairns that people have placed. You can see the brown dirt where boots have kind of chewed up the path a little bit, so you don't really have to worry about getting lost right here. So you can see what a tremendous view we have. And this section right here is not as steep. Once you get past those bushes right there, it drops quick. Got a good view over that direction toward Santa Rosa and Toro Peak. Hopefully when we get up to the top, we'll get a good view of that. But in the meantime, I got to keep climbing about 10 feet at a time. That's all I'm getting. I actually brought my stove today. Maybe I can brew up a cup of coffee when I get up there. Well, it looks like I'm not that far from the top now. That terrain is definitely leveled off. Looks like I'm able to take a peek over the other side. So hopefully, in a short distance here, I'll be at the top and be able to say I've reached the top of Lookout Mountain. In fact, there's a view off the other direction. Looks like I've reached the top of Lookout Mountain. There's the benchmark down there and the sign and register. Looks like I finally reached it. You have a benchmark right here and what looks like a summit register inside this can. I wonder when the last person was that was up here. Looks like there's a couple of registers. We'll check it out. Here, my GPS says we're 5570 right here. A distance of 2.53 miles from the P.C.T. So let's take a minute and look at this register and see when the last person was. Not too long ago. This was from February 24th, so just a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Can't read the name on it. There was another one from the end of January. Let's see. Those is running now. Summit register. Oops. Somebody wrote, just in case, summit register for Lookout Mountain. Yeah, looks like this ended, here's one from 2/28/25. Yoshiduri Imori. That's what that one says. Put my name in here. Today's date is March 4th, I believe, 2025. All right, I wrote my name and March 4th. Cool day, great views, all from the top of Lookout Mountain. Time to wrap this up, put it back inside the register, brew me up some coffee. What do you say, huh? And while walking around the somewhat rounded summit, I also discovered a second benchmark. It says Lookout. But right now it's time to take a break. Now just past the summit, I read that this whole area is no trespassing, that they actually had electrified fence. And this part up here is barbed wire, but this part down here, that's a fence standoff. And that's electrified wire down there. That's why it's not touching the metal post. And that runs all around the top of the summit. Now this is another view looking from the top of Lookout Mountain, and those yellow standoffs are what's keeping the electrified wire away from the rest of the wire. So make sure you don't touch that. Well, I ran into this QSO card on top of Lookout Mountain. Summit's on the air. SOTA. It has this call sign. KG6MZS. It's kind of cool. I know some people that are into that. I should do that since I'm a ham and I also go to the top of mountains. That's Toro Peak in Santa Rosa over there. Well, I'm at the top of Lookout Mountain, and I brought my a little BRS 3000 stove in my Lixada Titanium 750 milliliter pot. So I'm going to heat up some water, just enough to make some coffee, and I'm going to be making some Copico brown coffee mixed with Trader Joe's Instant. That'll be pretty good. And I also brought a burrito from home, so that's going to be my lunch today on the top of Lookout Mountain if my stove doesn't blow out. I do have a windscreen, but I really can't put it too close along the edge of the stove or it'll overheat the canister. So maybe I can move my backpack and block some of this wind up here. Well, I tell you what, it didn't take long. Now I gotta turn this sucker off. And of course, now we're going to have to let it cool because it's way too hot. Well, I made it up to the top of Lookout Mountain. Boy, what a climb, man. That was something else. This is still a little too hot. You know, over the years, I've tried a bunch of different coffees. I've tried the Avalanche. I've tried Starbucks Via. I've tried a Dagliadoro. I've tried all kinds of things, and it's still a little warm here. But I'll look this way. But what I've discovered is the Avalanche coffee, especially the caramel latte and the cappuccino. Those are awesome, but they're getting really, really hard to find. And so I'm kind of looking for something a little different. You know, I follow several other hikers and backpackers and outdoor enthusiasts on YouTube, and one of the guys that I enjoy watching is Junkyard Fox. I don't know if you've ever seen any of Junkyard Fox's videos. He does a lot of bushcrafting, a lot of catch and kill. Well, he'll eat weird things out in the desert like rats and gophers and snakes, and he eats prickly pear cactus, and he forages for food out in his native environment. And his channel is awesome. But the one thing that he did that he kind of turned me on to, and I'd never heard of this before, it's called Copico instant coffee. It's called brown coffee. And I guess it's sweetened with a little bit of creamer and brown sugar. So if you like the sweetened coffee, kind of like the Avalanche coffee, what I do is it's a little too strong if I mix it just straight. So I add a little thing of Trader Joe's instant coffee, and I put them together in a big cup like this. So this is perfect. It's got the heat that you want. It's got the liquid that you want. It's also got the caffeine that you need to get your hike over with, to get down the hill or get back to your vehicle or whatever. And I got this from a couple of videos watching Junkyard Fox. So the other thing I want to mention, and I've never mentioned this before, I've done pretty much damn near every hike from San Diego to San Bernardino, all of the local hikes, then all the mountains, Gorgonio and San Jacinto and Saddleback and Palomar and all the ones down in San Diego County. And so as I get more and more advanced and I expand my horizons as to what I'm going to do, what I'm going to look for, what I'm going to shoot for another video, I'm having to reach pretty deep actually into my hiking repertoire of books and guidebooks and internet research, and to find hikes like this one up to Lookout Mountain. there isn't a trail up to Lookout Mountain. The Pacific Crest Trail, sure, that goes south and north, but there is no official trail anywhere that goes to Lookout Mountain where I am today. And how I found this was there's another guy that I follow called Mike on the Trail, and he's on a quest to document 1,000 hikes in Southern California. And he's hiked some really obscure things. Some things that are shorter and easier, and some are really difficult. The Box Springs Mountain that I just did, right before I went, I watched Mike on the Trail's video where he's showing you what the route looks like. He gives you a good description of the distance and the incline. And same with this one, he did a hike up here to the top of Lookout Mountain. And so I looked at that, and I looked at his map that he had drawn with tracks or his GPS or whatever. And that's what I downloaded because there isn't a trail for this on All Trails. So anyway, just a shout out to a couple of hikers and a couple of adventurers, Junkyard Fox and Mike on the Trail. And if you're looking for something unique to do, check out Mike on the Trail's videos. He has a ton of videos. He actually has, I think, more videos than subscribers, which is a shame because there's a lot of information in his videos, and I think you would enjoy watching them. And they're short. They're not like mine. They're not 40 minutes. They're 8 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that. So if you're on the quest to find something different, look no further than Mike on the Trail. But in the meantime, I've got this burrito. I don't normally bring stuff like this, when I'm hiking, but we had some leftover steak, and we didn't eat it all, so I chopped it up into little cubes. We had some rice, and I put that in here in a big tortilla with some cheese. So I'm going to take a break up here, enjoy my coffee while it's still hot, and have a steak and rice and cheese burrito on top of Lookout Mountain. Anyway, the views are excellent up here, but you won't be able to say that tomorrow because a big storm's coming in. As we're looking to the, I guess it would be north, we have a great view looking towards San Jacinto. So there's San Jacinto Mountain right there in the background. And then down below in the valley, you can see the highway down there. That's Highway 74. And that building down there, see if I can get a little closer down there. That's the Paradise Cafe. And if you keep going, if you keep heading, basically, I guess it would be due north, you'll run into the town of Idlewild Mountain Center, and then you'll work your way up toward the top of San Jacinto Peak. Great view from this angle. I guess this is a road of some kind. I don't see any structures up here, but I don't want to climb over this fence to find out. Well, I finally made it back down to the junction of the Pacific Crest Trail. I couldn't have came a moment too soon, man. I'm exhausted. That is some super steep shit, man. Got off trail like 3 times, maybe 4 times. Not very far, 20 feet or so, but when you make a left and you start heading downhill 30 feet down the hill, then you realize you're going away from the All Trails route. You got to try and go back up that 30 feet. And it seems like 100. Anyway, I'm back to the P.C.T. That'll be smooth sailing from here on in. I do have, it looks like a climb, which I don't remember. But once I get to the top of this rise, I think it's mostly downhill. So should be back to the car pretty quick. I think it's only a mile and a half from here, so I ought to go probably in an hour and a half, maybe less, probably less. As I'm working my way back to the car, I'm noticing a lot of the agave and acatí or yuccas are dead, or they haven't bloomed, one or the other. I'm working my way down toward Paradise Cafe. I can't see it, but I just have to traverse in and out of this ridge line for a while. I should be back to the car pretty soon. Well, I'm finally working my way down from the top of the ridge line. And remember what I said about the snow? There was basically no snow on the bushwhack route up to top of Lookout Mountain, but on the northeast slope which is where we are now. We're actually facing San Jacinto and Highway 74, which is actually quite a bit. And because it's warmed up now, it's soft and slushy, and a lot of it's kind of muddy. But you can see where I am now. That's Garner Valley. Way off in the distance over there is San Jacinto. Highway 74 is down here. I'll be crossing the road here soon, and I'll be back at the car. All right, well, it looks like I made it up to the top of Lookout Mountain. I'm heading back out of the P.C.T. parking lot, and I'm sweating pretty good. It was a little warmer coming back than I thought it would be. But took a break for about 10-15 minutes at the trailhead. Had a cool one, and then some guy pulled up and started flying his drone right over the top of the Jeep. So time to go, I guess. Another P.C.T. through hiker, another P.C.T. hiker pulled up. I rolled the window up here, and they loaded up and they started heading northbound on the P.C.T. So it's like they're going to go do probably just a short day hike, I imagine. But it's only 2 o'clock. I didn't even start hiking until probably 10. So 4 hours up and back from the P.C.T. and the junction at the top of Lookout Mountain. It was a hard hike, man. I gotta admit, it was tough. The P.C.T. part was piece cake, but there was some incline to it. But boy, that scramble was pretty brutal, man. The only thing that saved my ass was the cairns. So there's quite a few cairns, and most of the time they were in really good spots. And without the cairns, I was still following all trails, and even in some spaces where I couldn't see a cairn, I had to pull out the All Trails map to make sure I was going the right way. So it's just a quarter mile from the P.C.T. junction to Paradise Cafe, which is right here to my left. And in about 3 weeks, this place is going to be hopping, man, with thru hikers. But right now, it's still too cold. There's too much snow, and in fact, over the next couple days, there's supposed to be a big snowstorm coming in, and so I don't think anybody's going to be going through here for probably 3 weeks. Then the thru hike season starts. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hiking Journal. My hike south on the P.C.T. and then the Use Trail up at the top of Lookout Mountain. I got to see the summit register, got to see the benchmark, and the electrified fence. But anyway, don't forget to hit that click and subscribe button, and tell your friends about the channel. And it's always exciting to click the analytics and find out I've got some new subscribers. It makes me feel good that somebody's watching the channel, and maybe I'm giving some people some ideas of places that they hadn't thought of before to go do a hike. So with the tail end of winter coming and spring right around the corner, time to dust out your hiking gear, man. Click your boots together, get that mud out, and make sure everything is in top-notch condition, and it'll be time to start hiking for the 2025 season. Well, anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Time for a monster drink. I'm tired, and I'm going to need the extra energy to get home because I'm pretty well beat. My face is monkey-ass red, too. I've got sunscreen again. Oh, well, already, take care. Bye-bye.